Hello, my wonderful spirit guides. Today I am going to be doing a patron request, and that is for an album called Rainbows by Radiohead. And this is going to be interesting for me because my stepdad is a huge Radiohead fan, but his favourite album was OK Computer, and I think some others around that, I'm not sure, but OK Computer is his like #1. So I've heard Radiohead growing up a lot, but never really dove into Radiohead, so I can't say like, even I know all the songs on OK Computer. I know certain ones that he'd play in the car, but I couldn't name them or anything like that, but I know he loves them. Never heard of In Rainbows though, came out in 2007, so a lot later than OK Computer, but I'm interested to get into it. I never thought that I would get a request for Radiohead. Not sure why, just like, I guess it's not, feels out of the realm of what I usually listen to. However, that maybe this has something to it that is somehow fits the realm. Maybe it's a bit more experimental. Maybe it's kind of jazzy. I don't know. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I do remember that Radiohead, you know, because I went to uni and stuff like that and did music. I remember Radiohead getting a little bit more jazzy or a bit more experimental. I do remember stuff like that. So I think that's where I'm grabbing those kind of words from, those genres from. So maybe it is going to be like that. Sorry if the light keeps dipping in and out. It's strange weather today. If you'd like to become a patron, please do. It really helps me out on a huge level. Like, I've explained a lot, but like it really does. Like it means the world. You can join at the bottom tier for the price of a cup of coffee. I'm trying to think of opening a new tier soon, but I want to make sure it's right. Next live stream I'm going to do is we're going to be writing a song together, me and the patrons. Follow me on Instagram. I shall follow you back. Like, comment and subscribe, so I love reading your comments. And if you would like to send me a tip, that link will be in the description too. A tip goes a long way as well, and you can pay whatever you want to pay, so there's no like you have to pay this amount or that amount. You can literally pay what you want. Right, anyway, let's get into it. I think, you know, I had this hat on for the video I done just now, but I'm too hot now. It is too much, so I'm taking it off and I'm being free. But yeah, I'm kind of going with chill vibes today, because I don't know, just not feeling my bestest today. But that's why you know what? Sometimes I love doing a reaction video and I'm not having the best day. Sometimes I can't make one at all if I'm having a bad day. But sometimes it's the thing I need to do to just bring a smile to my face for a moment, you know. But yeah, let's get into it. First song is called 15 Step. This lighting is crazy, but oh well. I'll lighten it up a little bit. Okay, it'll probably go really bright in a minute, but I'm going to try not worry about it too much and let it do its thing. Right. Ooh. Yeah, definitely experimental. Nice drum. Just trying to count that that beat. I don't know. I'm like I've said this in a recent video. I really suck at time signatures, but I want to look up what it is. Is 15 to do with it? Because it says 15 step. Ah, it's 5/4. I was literally I was counting to 5 in my head. But I get nervous. I feel like I'm going to be wrong, so I'm like. Then someone else has said my argument it's 15/8 because it's called 15 Step, and it just feels more of an 8 track. Actually, I agree with that too. Yeah, I literally thought it was 15 to do with it because it's called 15 Step, and it does have more of a faster feel to it. So 15/8 does sound, you know, similar. But then here it also says that 15 is kind of like one of Tom's obsessions, like hanging out the 15th floor, 15 blows to the back of your mind. Apparently he says 15 a lot. Well, everyone has their number. I always say 17. I don't know why, it's not even my lucky number, but I always say like, oh, 17 times. Oh, like I did that like 17 minutes ago, you know? Okay, sorry, stopped it so quickly. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry, I'm trying to like learn these things. Nice tone on the guitar. Very warm and surfy. It really is jazzy. Nice transition. Didn't even know he was going to do that, and I did the exact same note and the same thing. I love it when stuff like that happens. Ooh, bass. Pretty. Wow. That's cool. Nice shift. Kind of tribal at the end. It's funny because I remember in uni, like people talking about Radiohead and how they've got a little bit, you know, pretentious and so on. But I guess because this is very out the realm of what they used to sound like. But actually, I think they just wanted to experiment and get experimental and get creative and so on like that. And some people don't understand that. Some people don't understand the evolution of music in that way. And actually, I wouldn't call it pretentious. I've heard pretentious music, but this actually just feels like they've done what they have done for as long as they could. And they're still holding their Radiohead vibe. Like, his voice is so distinctive as well, and he still does similar things with his voice. And yeah, they just wanted to get a bit more interesting. The other funny thing was, like, you know, from where I'm from, Tom and Matt Bellamy from Muse have quite similar singing styles. Not the same, but they're similar, and they came up around the same time as well. And I would always love Muse a lot more. My dad loved Radiohead and Muse, but like, I loved Muse because they went to my school and came from my hometown, so it just felt right to love them more. And also I just found them a bit more exciting and so on, a bit more fun, you know. And the other thing I want to say is, like, I'm pretty sure these people from Radiohead all went to like quite, like, you know, posh schools and had quite a good like foundation to become good musicians and so on like that. And now probably putting lots of things that they learnt over time, from whether it be from school or, you know, just putting their intelligence into something, into their talent. Yeah, putting their intelligence into their talent and making something a little bit different, more difficult, pushing their boundaries. I find that really cool as well. Like, obviously everyone loves a story of musicians that came from nothing and ended up, you know, amazing, but it's not always that way. And like, of course that's always a great story, like a great success story. But I do know that Radiohead, I can't remember where, but I think they all met in school as well, which is actually kind of cute. Oh, here is interesting. It says York formed Radiohead with schoolmates at Abingdon School in Oxfordshire and studied at the University of Exeter. That's so weird. I studied in Exeter. Exeter's literally like 45 minutes away from me, and I did uni in Exeter. I didn't even know that. I thought they went to like Cambridge or something. And then I'm just looking at Muse, and looks like they all received honorary Doctorate of Arts from the University of Plymouth, which is also in Devon, where I live. But obviously they went to my school in Teignmouth, secondary school. They even helped build a whole art centre. So like, which has a theatre, gym, recording studio, music rooms. It has everything in it, and they paid millions for it to be built in the school that they used to attend, which is like so cute. And they also did a hometown gig, which was so fucking cool. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why it was worth mentioning. I just thought it was interesting because we always hear stories about people having a rough start and so on like that. I just feel like we always hear about that. But yeah, it makes sense to why they'd want to push the boundaries and so on, because they seem like intelligent people in the sense of who want to keep pushing boundaries, and they look at music as a real art form that can be manipulated and played with in interesting ways, not just your standard 4/4 time signatures and just keeping it as a simple rock song. They want to explore, and they didn't, you know, I don't know, there's something really good about that. And all these songs literally have like 50 million, 30 million, 70 million, 100 million listens. So this album is incredibly popular, like incredibly. And I think that's amazing for something quite jazzy, experimental, and so on like that. So yeah, and obviously you're going to know a lot more about Radiohead than I do. But yeah, I guess I was just thinking about the things that I've heard over time from my stepdad and my mum and my. I feel like I'm also coming up with this because I have to call my mum out here. But my mum loves punk rock, like loves punk, like the Sex Pistols, the Clash, and names that I can't even probably say on YouTube, and like, you know, lesser known ones and stuff. So she used to say to my stepdad like, oh, all these boys, these are you know, not just pretentious. She'd say like, they all posh boys, she'd call them. Yeah, she's like, these posh boys. She does like Radiohead, but she would call them a bit posh, and like, they had everything. They went to nice schools. They didn't, you know. So I guess I'm saying it because of like hearing her say that as well. Not carrying the same judgment, but like, I don't know. I guess it just got in my head. It's kind of funny. She never said it in a mean way. It was like in a banterish way. I guess that's why I thought of that though. But yeah, just because obviously she loves punk, and a lot of them came from poverty. So yeah. Anyway, next song before we take a million years is called Bodysnatchers. I love that. Understand what it is. I don't know. I love the grit. That is cool. Oh, so like I could really picture a scene here, and I could picture it being like an outdoor gig. So it's like a bar, but they've got like an outdoor kind of show going on, and I could see like this wooden stage with like a wooden roof like that. You know, it's all like this nice kind of wood, orangey wood, you know what I mean? And I could see people like dancing like proper, like going for it with drinks in their hand, like, you know, very like lost, you know, and losing themselves. And like, but then I could also see like almost like a movie, like scenes happening of like couples like arguing, pushing each other, and then in another corner there's people kissing, and then another moment is everyone in the crowd, and I could just see Radiohead like really putting that all into it on the stage, and like just going for it. I could just really visualize a full-on movie kind of scene. It sounded perfect for it. It definitely felt like nighttime as well. The distortion on the guitar was such a perfect little crunchy sound. It wasn't like, oh, I don't know, it had like a gravel to it rather than just like bit crushing sounds, like, you know, like it was less like high in EQ, and it felt more widthy and like gravelly. I really liked that. It kind of reminded me of Perfume Genius a little bit. And then when it went into that like soft guitar and it sounded all like liquidy and beautiful, that was such a nice like break. from all like the crunchy sounds. It was like a moment of clarity and beauty, which I found very, well, it was just nice. It really brought me into the song and the moment after hearing a lot of the same sound going, picturing this big scene and so on. And then, yeah, it just broke away from that for a moment. Here it says,
according to the New York Times, York's inspiration, York is Tom York, I imagine you know that, but I've only just found that out today. York's inspiration for Bodysnatchers include Victorian ghost stories, the Stepford Wives, and a feeling of your physical consciousness trapped without being able to connect fully with anything else.
Yeah. Victorian ghost stories. I guess I can't really think of any Victorian ghost stories. The Stepford Wives, of course I know what that is, about, you know, the women that kind of get programmed to be the perfect women, perfect wives for their husbands. And it was a movie of Nicole Kidman. Or was it a book as well? It might have been a book. And the feeling of your physical consciousness trapped without being able to fully connect with anything else. Physical consciousness. Really? Okay. I don't know what that means.
It is a narrative about monotonous, boring lives, where one doesn't feel comfortable with oneself and hiding one's true self. More specifically, it refers to living a fake life, acting like someone else and feeling dead due to it.
Oh, well, very relatable for a lot of people. And actually, when you think about it, for the LGBTQ plus community too, a lot of people hiding for a very, very long time. Maybe some people for their whole lives. So that interests me, but also just in any situation, you know, not working the job that you want to be working, or being able to follow your dreams or be creative due to family maybe not allowing it. And yeah, so you kind of end up on autopilot, not really living. And that just sounds so bad. I couldn't live like that. And I feel terrible for those who feel like they have to. Whew. But yeah, wicked. That was cool. All right, next one is called Nude. Reverse sounds. Yeah, it's reversed. This one's very pretty so far. Oh my. This is my favourite. Oh my god. This song genuinely feels a little bit more like classic Radiohead to me. This sounds like the stuff that I would hear in the car with my stepdad, what I would hear him singing to when he's, you know, in the kitchen or whatever he's doing. But this is the sort more of the sound that I can kind of connect with Radiohead. Personally, that's what I think. Obviously, like I said, I don't know all the songs, but this one feels very true to their original sound, but slightly different. I'm completely obsessed with it though. Every tone and texture is like, has been thought about. Really, it's almost like every instrument had like a very like detailed and strong amount of time perfecting and getting right in the tone and the EQ. It's like it's been really masterfully dealt with, and I'm so happy for that. That is so beautiful. Dirty. I've just read something. Like, because it was coming towards the end of the song, I just started reading the about section, because I scrolled down to it to get ready to read it, and then obviously inevitably read the first line. That's why I was smiling, because it says, Originally written and recorded during the OK Computer era. Yeah, that's why it had that sound, that classic Radiohead sound that I was talking about. Because it was literally written in that era. Anyway.
The song was often played live and became a hardcore fan favourite. It had the working title, Failure to Receive Repayment Will Put Your House at Risk, although most knew it as Big Ideas Don't Get Any. The band worked on it during the next decade, but was never satisfied with the result. Renamed as Nude, it was finally released in Rainbows in 2007, with a different arrangement, and in the next year it became the second single of that album. Producer Nigel Godrich claimed a new bass line composed by Colin Greenwood restructured the song. The song describes the consequences of a world where only one idea is shared by everyone. If one has an idea that is different from the generally accepted one and could benefit the world, one way or another, it would always be kept away from the public.
Interesting. Wow, it's really interesting to come up with, like, they're like song topics are very philosophical and kind of deep and different. Tale as old as time is everyone has opinions, everyone, and we don't all have the same one. And yeah, we do wonder things like, imagine if we were all just good and we all wanted what was best for the world. However, nothing can be that like that, and what is good to one person isn't good to another person. So that's I don't know, that is interesting.
Tom York said, 10 years ago when we first had the song, I didn't enjoy singing it because it was too feminine, too high. It made me feel uncomfortable. Now I enjoy it exactly for that reason, because it is a bit uncomfortable, a bit out of my range, and it's really difficult to do and bring something out in me.
Absolutely, yeah. He sounds, this is the best I heard him on this album. I think he sounds beautiful. And sounding too feminine, come on now. Nah, he just sounded like him. And it doesn't even matter if he did sound feminine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's such a gift to have. And I love how he said that's the same reason why he likes it more now. Proving my point of how they wanted to get a bit more experimental. They wanted to branch out, try new things, not stick to the same thing all the time, and yeah, be a little bit different. Okie doke. Right, let's move on. This one's called WeirdFishes / Arpeggi. And it's got 101 million listens on Spotify. And it came out in 2007. That is gorgeous. Yeah, so I love how doing arpeggios. You know, the plucking is in arpeggios. Kind of, I think. Could be wrong. Nah, it is. Why should I stay here? Why should I stay? I'd be crazy not to fall. They tell me I'm the other phantom. To the end of the earth. Wow. It's got a lot of tension, you know. I feel really like bridges coming. I feel like it would be like soft. Yeah. Release, dropped off. Instrumental interlude coming. Throwing you right back in. Haunting. With those vocals. It's very shoegaze. You did feel it coming because it surged, but when it hit, it's like a, whew, wow, takes you out of that shoegaze moment. And just in case you didn't know, shoegaze is a genre, which sounds kind of similar to that. Usually with shoegaze, you'll get a lot more, like a more stereotypical shoegaze sound, have even more guitars riffing and soloing and making interesting sounds and so on, and a lot going on in that way. But however, this did have that. The reason it's called shoegaze is because the guitarist would spend a lot of the time looking at his feet, because a lot of it is doing a lot of pedal work, you know, like wah-wah, tremolo, delay, and whatever you want. A lot of it is playing and also, you know, moving your feet to pedals as you go, like, and you're kind of just like in the zone like that. Yeah, that's why it's called shoegaze, literally. I definitely felt that in that moment. Yeah, I'm going to read about it.
WeirdFishes / Arpeggi brandishes new drums behind its drain-circling arpeggios.
Yeah, I said it was arpeggios. And I know that was probably obvious to some people, but like I said, I'm not like, I know about music, but I forget things too. I've not been in uni for ages, and I've never been great at musical theory, but so when I get something right, I feel good. I feel like I've got an answer right in a test. I feel like, yes, I'm still learning, still getting some things right. You know, I'm just trying to constantly learn still. So it's nice to read that and feel like, yay, I got it right. But yeah, I liked it. Do you know what? It wasn't actually my favourite though. Like the one before was my favourite. This one was beautiful, but maybe a little bit monotonous. Like it kind of did the same thing a lot. And I guess that's like the idea of it. I did find myself getting lost in it towards the end, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was obviously a good song, but not much deep feeling there, if that makes sense for me. Anyway, next one was called All I Need. I love how deep like some of these like bass sounds are. That fuzzy sound. Giving it that. Trapped in your heart. I'm all the days that you choose to ignore. Wow. All I need. That is pretty. See, I like this a lot. It's more like moody, and I can feel that. Wow. I'm just trying to get out of the night. The sound over here kind of sounds like a little fluttering sound of an insect or a moth. Again, with that kind of abrupt ending. Yeah, that's another favourite. And it reminded me, at the end there especially, reminded me of Sigur Rós, like majorly, with that kind of emotive vocal and like the big kind of sound and the way it just felt so, every little bit screamed emotion. And it's so funny because I was just saying the WeirdFishes one didn't have enough emotion for me. It didn't hold the feeling that I feel is emotional, but this one certainly did. Absolutely another favourite.
In the fall of 2005, Radiohead had already been working on new music for their 7th LP. On September 30th, they posted a photograph on their blog, Dead Airspace, revealing a blackboard listing close to 40 new titles that the band had been rehearsing. While All I Need appeared among these songs and compositions, it was not included on a second blackboard, listing the 16 titles they prepared for their upcoming tour to road test the new material that would ultimately comprise in Rainbows. The band performed All I Need for the first time on June 20th, 2006 at the Auditorium Theatre in Chicago after more than a month of touring. Subsequent Performances saw minor variations to Tom's verses, demonstrating that the song's lyrics were still being perfected from show to show. This suggests that the opening lyrics, "I'm the next act waiting in the wings," came from a very literal place.
That's really cool. Like, he was still perfecting the lyrics, still working them out.
A more graceful approach to the subject of unworthiness and unrequited love, which the band so famously explored on their breakout hit, Creep. All I Need finds its narrator lamenting over his inability to attain or escape his beloved, to whom he is relentlessly devoted.
Yeah, so kind of the opposite, really, because Creep is about wishing that they could be loved by a certain person and feeling like insecure and feeling like a creep. And then this one is very much like, well, I'm going to, like, not really necessarily loving the person they're with, but settling for the person they're with. So yeah, I think that's cool.
Where Creep was distinguished by bursts of intensity throughout, All I Need is more of a slow burn. The general softness of the arrangement is in stark contrast to the emotional thrust of York's lyrics. The swelling, beautiful outro in which Tom belts out "It's all wrong, it's all right" serves as the track's emotional release, as if the narrator is cathartically dispelling all of the feelings that had imprisoned him for so long.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. And it was done so well. I'm glad I read all that. You know, I looked at that and thought, when I read the first half, I was like, oh no, is this going to be really boring to read? And as I started reading more, I was like, no, I'm really glad I read that. That was really interesting to me. Whew, wow. Yeah, I love that one. All right, now it's called Faust Arp. This song is called Faust Arp. It's only 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wakey, wakey, rise and shine, it's on again, off again, and the backbone pie, I'm tingling, 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 it's what you feel now.
The way it's sang is so interesting.
Ooh. I guess I'm stuck. Use the tubes and empty bottles, I take a bow, it's tumbling, duplicate, there from the neck up, I guess I'm stuck now, that's stuck.
That's so beautiful. The instruments. Ooh. You know what? Like, I was about to say, like, oh, I wish the song was longer, but no, I don't. I feel like that was such a perfect little moment, and a short, perfect moment. There's lots of words in there, so there's lots to digest. The instrumentation wasn't just like a long sign or something, or a long drone. It actually had a lot of detail. So even for a 2-minute song, it was jam-packed with detail. So yeah, I thought that was really cool as well. Interested in what it was about, though. I couldn't really work it out. It seemed quite cryptic to me.
The track's title, Faust Arp, combines the name Faust, sometimes spelled Faustus, a man who sold his soul to the devil for happiness and almost unlimited power, and Jean Hans Arp, a French sculptor.
So it's actually like it's about someone, it's like a story. Okay.
Regarding the legend of Faustus, the second part begins with the spirits on the earth forgiving Faust and the rest of mankind, and progresses into rich allegorical poetry. Faust and his devil pass through the world of politics and the world of classical gods, and meet with Helen of Troy, the personification of beauty. Finally, having succeeded in taming the very forces of war and nature, Faust experiences a single moment of happiness.
Oh, very interesting and deep story. Having succeeded in taming the very forces of war and nature, Faust experiences a single moment of happiness. Like, he's always trying to defeat something, trying to get justice for something, or make the world a better place or something. I'm not entirely sure, I'm really not. But he feels a single moment of happiness, so like he really doesn't feel happiness often. But then also like selling his soul to the devil for happiness. I'm so confused. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really confused. I'm there trying to read it but I really don't. I feel like that's written in a very confusing way. I need someone to spell it out for me. Someone has said here, this song is a classic example of Radiohead's existential nihilistic angst. Faust, a man who sold his soul to the devil, is a good allegory to the soullessness of our day-to-day routine and everyday life. Yeah, like, see, that when I read the sold your soul to the devil bit, I thought that was just interesting in general. The next bit that I read just threw me off completely, like talk about Helen of Troy and politics. I was just like, wait, what? Okay, this is really throwing me for a loop now. I kind of needed that to be written totally differently, like completely differently. But I found that interesting because, like, they talk about people in you know, celebrities and singers and stuff selling their souls to the devil for fame or power, glory, and so on like that, selling your soul to the devil. Some people truly believe in that. So I found that interesting because it makes me think of musicians and fame and so on like that. But when it got to the next bit, I just got so confused. I'm not even going to pretend to be smart for this one. But then there's so, like, looking at all the comments, there seems to be like a million different interpretations to what the song's about. Some people think it's about addiction. Some people think it's about, just like day-to-day routine. Some people think it's about love. Wow, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. I'm definitely not going to try and work it out for myself because I know I won't be able to. If I had more time, I'd probably do a deeper dive into it, but I don't think my brain's capable of that right this second. Anyway, cool song. Next one's called Reckoner. That is such a sharp sound to come in with. And then that, like, beautifully muted guitar, the contrasting sounds. If he comes in with a low vocal, that'll be cool. I knew he wouldn't. Like, I thought if he came in like Reckoner, like the low vocal, but listen, the EQ, and everything's very high up, not just the EQ, but like the notes, they're high, right? So the whole song feels lifted, it feels light. So his vocal coming in just adds to the lightness of it. I thought if he came in with a it would add some sort of dynamic, some width to it, but clearly that's not the direction they want to go in. And I believe there'll be a part where it does kind of like a bass will come in, because they've had so much like thick bass throughout these songs. I imagine there'll be a thick bass that comes in or something low to I don't know, give it some dynamic, widen it out a bit. If they don't, then I guess it's just going for something, they're doing their thing and just wanting it to sound light. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. That sounds beautiful. Still high. Yes, there it is. There's some foundation. Very gentle as well. Interesting. I love that. That one was really relaxing. Had such a lightness to it, and I like when it came back on the and like he was just talking about like the ocean and so on like that, and it gave it that beachy feeling. It almost made me think of seashells and like shaking like a little rattly thing, but it had seashells on it, something like that. I don't know, but that was so pretty. I want to see what that one's about.
Reckoner was an early working title for the album before it was titled In Rainbows.
And he does actually say In Rainbows in this song, so it's interesting that like both the titles, they wanted for the album came from this song, this one might have felt like an embodiment of what the album is all about.
The album does take its title from this song's lyrics, because we separate / like ripples on a blank shore in rainbows.
Yeah, which I just said.
An earlier, much different song titled Reckoner was played live in 2001 and later released as Feeling Pulled Apart by Horses.
Interesting. Pulled Apart by Horses is a James Blake song as well. I feel, and there's been moments within listening to this where I felt like James Blake was probably quite inspired by Radiohead vocally, and some of the sounds, like harmonies and stuff.
Guitarist Johnny Greenwood was asked in an interview with Mojo magazine, January 2008, if he was aware that In Rainbows was a remarkable record. He replied, "Well, we spent more time on it than we should have done, and you go a bit mental after a while. You listen to something like Reckoner and think maybe this is just a bad breakbeat. Now I can hear what's good about it. People around us were telling us it was really good, but what do they know? What do we know?" He added later in the interview, "It was when we recorded Reckoner that we felt we'd first got something special on tape." The song has a similar theme to their song called Present Tense.
That's interesting to me. I do get that. Like, obviously, I write music and so on, and once I've heard my songs too many times, I'm like, what even is this anymore? And then you need to take some time, and when you listen to it again, that's when I decide whether I want to keep it or I want to get rid of it. I don't ever decide that after I've just been making it. I have to give myself at least a good sleep, a night, you know. And if it's something really difficult, then maybe a week. But yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, I feel like these songs are like extremely deep, and you can interpret them in so many different ways. But yeah, here today, I just want to listen to the music and read the about section, get in as much as I can, learn a little bit here and there, and just vibe with it. Okay, next song is called House of Cards. Reverb.
No matter how it ends, no matter how it starts, get about your house.
Wow, this reverb is really interesting.
Off the table, get swept on. Structure will collapse from voltage spikes.
These atmospheric sounds are like so intriguing. This is really easy to enjoy. How do you not just float away with that one? Yeah, like that just, like I felt like I could just literally easily just, you know, sit like this. It would be very boring to watch, so I didn't. But I could just like completely still and watch every little detail. Like, I guess you would have probably understood if I did do that, but yeah, you know, there was a lot of imagery for me here as well, because I couldn't work it out, and I was trying to figure out how I'd explain it, but it's like I could see like a huge office building, and I could see him singing with a microphone, and he's on one of the levels, but the level has been completely cleared out. There's no walls, nothing. There's no windows. It's all like arches almost, but there's a ceiling and a floor. It almost looked like it could be like a car park, like, you know, a multi-level car park, but I don't know what it was, but it was just empty. And there was like, I think there was like something in the background, like a fallen over chair, or, you know, like little bits of like tarpauling or little, you know, I can't like visualize it fully, like exactly what the objects were, but it was stuff that you'd find in like an abandoned place. And some of the sounds reminded me of like things blowing. So like the wind, obviously there's no window, so it's almost like it's blowing through the holes as he's singing. And then where he's singing, it feels very intimate and like, you know, warm, and like had like almost safety to it, but that everything else didn't feel safe. It felt like the structure was, I don't know, it just wasn't safe. And I guess that makes sense as well for the words House of Cards, and your House of Cards could fall over, you could lose everything, and so on like that. And I was following the lyrics a little bit, but it sounded like a woman in a marriage who maybe, you know, isn't in love with him, maybe. I don't know, like denial, pretending to still be happy. But then he's saying he loves her, doesn't want to be her friend, something to do with an affair, maybe. I don't know. Again, I haven't really been following the lyrics very deeply on this album. I'm not even entirely sure why. I think just the music has certainly been taking over.
This song is certainly about a man that loves a girl that's in a relationship.
Yes.
He wants to be her lover. He talks about House of Cards, which means insubstantial or insecure situation or scheme. And what he means is that her marriage is unstable and prone to fail.
Yes.
There's also a reference to key parties where swinger couples would have all the ladies put their keys in a bowl, and the men would fish through and pick a set of keys and go home with the woman whose keys they ended up with.
Okay. Very interesting. I really liked that song, but it was very dreamy. Like I said, I was visualizing this space. I just wanted to close my eyes and watch it. It's very interesting. Yeah. Right, anyway, next song is called Jigsaw, Falling Into Place. That's interesting. We had House of Cards, which is all like something falling down, but now it's a jigsaw falling into place, so everything coming together. Let's go for it. Okay. Alright. Perfect to go after the last song. Bit of a pick-me-up. Sounds a little bit like angry, maybe. There's something a little bit menacing about it.
As you take my hand, just as you write my number down, just as the drinks arrive.
We haven't really heard his voice in this register.
No one will wind up like a spring, but the walls have been in shape. They got a Cheshire cat grin.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Before you run away from me, before you're lost between the notes, the beat goes round and really got me. Come on and let it out. Come on and let it out. Before you're lost between the notes, just
favourite. Now that is a song I didn't want to end. Yeah, I didn't want that one to end. I would have been so happy if it was like a 10-minute song. It just progressively got better and better. Like, nah, not better and better. It just progressed. it was just so good. Oh. All right, I'm gonna go straight to the about section.
Tom York and his close friend Adam Buxton, who directed the video for this song.
I'm glad that there's a video for this song. I really felt like there could be, and I could like really picture like a hallway. No, it started off as like a flat, and the flat was like dimly lit, and I could see a guy talking to a girl, like almost saying these things to a girl, and like then it shifted. I don't know, I lost it for a little bit when there was a moment with the bit when when it said she looked at you, you looked back, and it's like they're two people walking past each other in a corridor looking at each other. There was just splashes of images rather than a full storyline here. I was too busy just like seeing the colours of the music as well, and like hearing it, you know, and feeling it. God, that was such an explosion. His voice when it like amped up, it felt so like just like tugged at me. Definitely felt menacing.
Tom York and his close friend Adam Buxton, who directed the video for this song, has stated in interviews that Jigsaw Falling Into Place is based on the messy drunken nights out the band fondly remember, particularly from their university days. However, it is not 100% autobiographical, as Tom stated in an NME interview in December 2007. He said, "I would never say it was personal because it's always a set of observations. Jigsaw Falling Into Place says much about the fact that I used to live in the centre of Oxford. I used to go out occasionally and witness the chaos of a weekend around here, but it's also about a lot of different experiences. Personally, I was really surprised that it's going to be the single. The lyrics are quite caustic. The idea of before you're comatose or whatever, drinking yourself and getting effed up to forget when you're part of a group of people who are all telling you to forget in masse. It is partly this elation, but there's a much darker side." Writer Josh Tyrangil described the song as a journey through flirtation, consummation, and regret that gets about as close as you can to summing up a doomed relationship in 4 minutes.
Yeah, I really felt that because at the start when I said about the flat and like the apartment and a man talking to a woman saying those things to her, I felt like it was a little bit heated or like I said, menacing, a little bit dark. There was definitely grit to it. And the before you're comatose bit made a lot of sense because I was reading it too. I was like, sounds like drinking or maybe even drug taking, you know, getting all screwed up to forget. And I feel like a lot of people have done that. I certainly have in my university days. And it has led to bad things happening sometimes, you know. Yeah, it's weird. You try and black out to forget things, but then in that moment of being blacked out, you make more bad decisions that you want to then forget later on. So yeah, crazy.
The song moves through the club and catches the eye of a stranger before it all kicks off. When it was first played live in 2006, it was known as Open Pick. It was released the next year in the album In Rainbows and then as a single in early 2008, which reached 69 in the US modern rock charts and 30 in the UK singles chart.
Brilliant. Yeah, definitely my favourite one. It just, wow, I don't know, just wow. And I actually really am like interested in reading back on those lyrics because these lyrics stood out to me the most on the whole album. I could follow it a little bit better. I felt it. It felt that, you know, there's personal reasons to why I felt it. The walls abandoned shape, I knew as well at that point what that like maybe they'd taken something or just drank, you know, whatever. Yeah, and his voice, the way it came in at first with the lower sound and as it rose, yeah, it's a very, very, very perfect song. Right, anyway, last song now, and it's called Videotape. I think it's going to be kind of hard to beat that one just then, but let's go for it.
When I'm at the pearly gates of videotape,
That bass, that thick bass, once again.
this is one for the good days and red, blue, green.
Wow.
Control on videotape. Videotape.
sad. Actually, I really enjoyed that. You know, I was thinking, oh, how can you, I don't know how you're gonna beat Jigsaw falling into place, but it, you know, it doesn't beat it, but it's a completely different vibe, so you can't even like really compare the two because they're so different. This one had such a sad fucking feeling though, so it felt like dying or saying, you know, saying goodbye, but not actually being able to say goodbye properly, just the goodbye being a perfect day, you know, that's the goodbye. Makes me feel a bit sad. Oh, like a little bit lumpy in the old throat here. Woohoo! The way, it's just the way he sings it, the sound of the drums and the piano. Dun, dun, it's just, oh god. Me just like, oh Jesus Christ, that's painful. It's so sad sounding. Hot damn. Right. Oh, I just want to see what the time signatures is as well. It's like, it felt like it was going 1 2 1 2. Like it felt very short, you know. I couldn't fit 4 in. 4 4 apparently. But it just sounds like 1 2 1 2. But it's like 1 2. I don't know. It was just very difficult to pick apart. But it felt like it was going 1 2 1 2. You know, very fast one. But then a 1 2 3 4. Yeah, difficult. See, I'm still trying to get there. See what someone else has said, whether they think it sounds weird as well. So someone said I can't decide whether it's 4 4 or 6 8. You know, it's difficult. It is difficult trying to get them all right. 1 2 3 4 1. It's really hard to hang on. 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Yeah, it's really difficult. It's just because it's like interesting sounds, like the clackering sound throws you off, and it's all like played, I guess, like in interesting, I don't know. Very cool. I love hearing things with different time signatures at the moment. I've just been really into it. Just trying to learn and learn and learn and learn. So this is like the perfect album to listen to today. Because only recently I was listening to something else that was in like, it was like 4 beats and it had 5 bars, and like that's quite unique to have 5 bars of music. And I was there going, no, surely not, I'm probably wrong, but I was right. Yeah, wow. Wow. Okay, very cool to be able to listen to my first full Radiohead album. There's certainly some songs on here that I know my stepdad will love, because obviously he's a Radiohead fan, but like I said, he liked the OK Computer era. I don't know. But let me know what your favourite is. I really desperately want to know. I always love knowing stuff like that. What, like, you know, what about the album called to you? What about, how did you find this album? Why did it come on your radar? Is it through similar means as me, where it's like my stepdad liked it, or did you find it on your own? Was it on a TV program? Anything, just let me know what you think about it. Talking to the patron, this, and also if this goes to YouTube, talking to everyone who's watching, and also all the other patrons who might be watching. Talking to everyone, all right? But yeah, sorry that this video has been a bit dark, light, all over the place with the lighting. But yeah, I really enjoyed listening to this. It was a good time, and like it felt very good for today. I wasn't feeling like really 100%. I still am not, but like I felt like with this I could just be casual, relax, listen. I don't know, it didn't feel like a lot of pressure, and that's a very nice feeling. I just could just listen, because it's an album that you really do have to intently listen to, and but not just intently listen to, but can fall away with too. And there was moments of that where it felt all like this. And there were moments where you just felt like, oh my god, that's so good, and like involved in it. Yeah, I think that was a really quite phenomenal album, and I can really see why so many people have listened to it. But yeah, honestly. And if you don't know who Muse are, but you like this, I definitely would suggest to check out Muse. They're a brilliant band as well. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Bye.